So, over the past few weeks, I've spent a lot of time focusing on purpose, you know, what mine is, how to kind of discover it. And I've noted a few key things that I've read in books and watched in some videos. So, I wanted to quickly share that with you. I think really the most important thing I've realized is that the layers of purpose are kind of like the layers of an onion. So David Data explains it like as you get closer to your deepest purpose or the middle of the onion, the more it kind of aligns with your values and your life's goal, mission, right? And so in an example that I just thought of, um, when I was in seventh grade, I started doing push-ups, and then after 2 years, I got super bored of those, and I moved on to calisthenics. And obviously, this transition didn't happen like that, right? It took some time to really figure out what I wanted to do next, and that's what David Data explains in his book as well. That sometimes it could take a few weeks or a few months to really know what you want to do next. And during that time, you just spend time waiting and trying to learn, see what calls out to you, right? And I think that's very important that you don't just give up after you feel like you're done with a certain area. I think it just means you're going on to, the next thing in life. And sometimes it can take a while to really know what that thing is. In another book I read, Ikigai, they explain that your ultimate purpose is something that can be monetized. It's something you love to do. It's something the world needs. And I forgot the other thing. But basically, when you combine the four things together, basically that's what leads to your Ikigai. And I talked to my dad about it, and he was like, yeah, no shit. That's what many people never figure out in their lives. And, that kind of made sense. But yeah, that's really what the Ikigai talked about. And it's a nice way to think about it, right? It's like a Venn diagram with four corners, four whatever, circles. And when they all overlap in the middle, that's what you should do, right? And for an example, you know, calisthenics, right? The world kind of needs it. We're all fat and sad. And it can be monetized, through courses or through, I don't really know, YouTube, I guess. And what was the last thing? I forgot. But you get the point. So, yeah, that's another book I read about purpose. And what I came to realize recently, as I've been going through, college apps, I submitted them a few months ago, but I have thought a lot about them. And I realized that basically sending off kids to choose what they're going to do for the rest of their life is not the best solution to anything, really. I think the whole system's kind of screwed over because we start off way too early. And I think that's why a lot of the job unhappiness comes from, is that people are forced to, commit to a major, and then they have to stick through with it, and then they're stuck with a job they hate for the next 40 years. And I think that's a bad way to go about it. And I also think that's one reason why gap years are getting so much more popular, because people need time to focus on what they want to do, in life. And, the normal college goer doesn't really get that time. They just have to choose within their last year of high school and, stick to it. Hope they like it for the rest of their lives, because they're kind of stuck with it. But yeah, that's kind of what I noticed. If you're not going to college, then it's completely different, right? Then I think better because you get more time. But I'm going to college. I'm going to be an aerospace engineer, I hope. I hope I stick through with it. I hope I enjoy it for as long as I need to or want to. But yeah, if you're going to do some big monumental decision like that, think it over, think through what you need to do, because it's an important decision, right? One of the biggest things I've realized through this is that thinking by yourself with no distractions is one of the most important things you can do to find what you like. I think a lot of people never do that because they're always either at school or eating or just on a device. And so they never get the time or the feeling that they want to. Because if you're always getting stimulated by that kind of dopamine, either scrolling or, doing something else, you're never going to want to sit down and look inwards. But I think the more you do it, the easier it gets to keep doing it because then your base level of dopamine, goes down. So you're going to have a want, a desire to start, looking inwards, see what you want to do. It's really a thing that you gotta try it before you know what it feels like, right? You can kind of guess, but it's like a enlightening experience, I think. But if you're up for it, your homework today is to spend 5 minutes either meditating or thinking about what you want to do. And if your mind wanders, if you start thinking about something else, don't judge that feeling because that's thinking. Just try to come back to the present. That was probably my biggest takeaway from meditating, is that getting distracted is not a bad thing. It's just like a rep in the gym if you come back to the present. I kind of have mixed emotions about social media on this topic because on the one hand, it can be used for good. It can be used to find your main purpose, find what you want to do in life. Because, for example, I love planes. I love flight because of what I've seen online. That's why I want to be an aerospace engineer. And I also discovered, calisthenics and weightlifting, self-improvement, all that. That was from the internet. But there is a downside to it, and if you do spend too much time on it, then it can take away from the time that you have to work on, your goals or your main purpose. And I think a lot of people have this dream, have this big goal, but they never take action on it because scrolling on social media is more fun than starting on a goal that could be scary. But I think it's an important step to take, especially. Alex Hermosi talks about doing something to 100 before you decide to give up. So that can mean 100 gym days before you stop, or seeing something through to 100. So 100 meditation minutes before you can quit. But obviously the best case scenario would be not to quit. But yeah, those are just some of the things I've noticed over the past, month or so, since I didn't have a camera until a few days ago. And it took me 3 takes to make this video because I wanted to make it good and from the heart, I think. Yeah. See you next time. I always forget how I end these videos. I think it's